Welcome to part 2 of the Southern Football League web show. In part 1 we spoke with Peter O'Day, the Murrumbeena coach, who's going to be coaching his boys in this week's 88.3 Southern FM match of the day, and we also took a look at the round 14 edition of the Southern Footy League top 5. Great to see the youngsters kicking goals. You've got long careers ahead of you boys, keep working hard. I'm now joined by the other coach from this week's match of the day, and that's James Charles from Blackrock. Warm welcome to you, James.
Yeah, no, great to be here. Great to be on the show. It's fantastic.
Now, tell us a little bit about your coaching experience. You dropped in the deep end last year. Tell us what happened there.
I'd been assistant coach at Blackrock for the last 2 years under 2 years prior under Steve Anderson. It was 2008 that Burger sort of approached me, and I decided, probably because of time commitments, I couldn't really do it. But in round 2, a guy by the name of Chris Moore, who'd taken over the reins, had some personal issues going on with his wife, and I was thrown in the deep end, I suppose, as a captain coach. So it was a bit different. It was a bit different first up, but good learning experience, and you learn a lot about yourself, I suppose, being thrown in the deep end.
Certainly one way to learn the caper. Now, Blackrock won the Division 3 flag in 2007. Struggled a little bit with a little bit of turmoil, as we just discussed last year. How have you settled down this year?
Yeah, I think this year, at the start of the year, it promised a lot with recruits. A lot of people, I think, sort of within the league just thought, because we picked up, blokes like Gross and Kirkland and Chris Lawrence, these sort of players, that we'd have a great year. But we still need a lot more depth, and I suppose going forward, the club really needs to look at the getting an under-18s together and getting a bit of flow on through the reserves. Yeah.
Well, you spoke a little bit about that on the Southern Footy Show on Sunday on 88.3. Have you got any connections already lined up around the local area to set that under-18s up? Yeah,
I'm not. I will be involved in it, but more towards the end of the year. We've got Evan Lucas, who's chairing a committee we have down the club at the moment. What we need to do is to speak to schools like Blackrock Primary, Bowie North, and these sort of places, and probably do similar to what I think Clint Onsendale's been doing in Heatherton, and do a few footy clinics. So there's plans in place, and it will happen.
Build the relationships with those schools.
Yeah, look, probably the difficulty Blackrock's always had being down that area, and I played all my juniors at Beaumaris, is Beaumaris tends to take a lot of the junior players. They've got a pretty good structure in place, and always have. But this year we started to get a few of the Beaumaris players start to come across to us, guys like Matty de Conning and a few of the guys in the reserves. So the tide's starting to change slowly. So it's all for the better. Yeah.
Well, it's got to start somewhere, and we wish you luck with getting 18s up and going for maybe 2010.
Yeah, look, if the club's going to survive, it's been around for 100 years. It's essential that they get the 18s. Yeah.
Now, you just mentioned a couple of those recruits. You have recruited well. Obviously, you mentioned Kirkland, Gross, de Conning. They've been vital for you this year, haven't they?
Yeah, Luke's played a pretty vital role up forward. We've probably lacked guys who can kick a lot of goals. So I mean, it's pretty obvious just looking in. I think he's kicked 76, 77 now, sort of around that mark.
And I think your next best is under 20.
At times I've said to the guys they can get a little bit one-dimensional about it too, and probably could use some other options. So that's been the focus probably the last 4 or 5 weeks. But look, he's a fantastic kick. If he marks the ball 30 to 50 metres out, it's home. That's right. Yeah. And look, around the club, he's very professional. He put in a big pre-season. He's at all the functions, and he trains Tuesday and Thursday. He's always there. So he's a real professional. It's been good to have him on board.
Yeah, you need good clubmen. Now you're still mathematically, I guess, in the finals race, and the side you're playing this week, Murrumbeena, knocked Ashwood out of the finals race this week. I guess they'd be hoping to do that to you. Have you put any plans in place to combat Murrumbeena?
Yeah, look, last time we played Murrumbeena, we actually beat them. We were probably travelling a little bit better than we are at the moment too, and we might have got, Peter would probably say we probably got them on a bad day, but they've got some good players. Their ruckman's a good player, Jones. I've played a lot of footy before against Hawking, and he's another one that you've got to stop, and probably the other one's the big guy from Lakes Entrance. I think Roland's up forward. So if you can hold them, life's a lot easier for you. But they're three keys to hold. But look, we give ourselves every chance. We knocked them off last time, so you've got to give yourself a chance. But If our guys come, prepared to play, I'm sure we can do a good job, get the points.
And with the weather that Melbourne's been throwing at us lately, it's been very wet, windy, wild. Have you been doing any specific training to combat that?
Yeah, well, look down at Blackrock, it's, I suppose if you play down at Blackrock, you get the wind all the time anyway, so probably the only windier place I've seen this year is probably the game out of South Yarra early in the year. They seem to get a big wind across there. Yeah, we have, I suppose it's just specific training, no, probably just a lot of practice, just a lot of practice sort of thing, There's Blackrock on a winter's night, being right near the bay can be, quite a handful.
Can you make the finals, the big question?
You never say never. You never say never. Last week was very disappointing, obviously. Mathematically you could probably say yes. We need to put our heads down and look, we probably think we can win three out of the last 4 games. We put them all in as, possibilities, 50-50s if you like. The Heatherton one's going to be hard. Heatherton seems to be at the moment clearly above everyone else in the comp. Your heart sort of says, I've still got faith in the list and a lot of these young guys, and I'll tell you after Saturday, I suppose. Right?
Well, a lot of the sides that are just above you, the Caulfields, Heights, Oakley districts, all play against each other in the last few rounds, so you may not be out of the race yet. Yeah,
not just out of the race, but look really, what I'm looking for in the last 4 rounds is improvement out of a lot of our young guys. With the guys around that age group, sort of 20 to 24, they'll get every opportunity to play in different positions. It'd be nice if we were able to somehow do it, but look, realistically, we really need to look at sort of next year and developing some of these young guys in the side.
Okay. Well, we wish you all the very best for this week and for next week's game. Just before we finish up with you, we'll just give you our usual parting shots, just a couple of questions, maybe footy related, may not be, and we'll just see how light James is on his feet. Having come from Division 3 a couple of years ago, who's your pick for the flag in Division 3 this year?
Division 3, I'd like to say Sky. Corey Stevens is also a bit of a mate of mine, so...
and they wear the same jumper?
Yeah, they do wear the same jumper, and look, I think Sky, it looks really even, but I think Sky with some of their experienced players like Corey and Rowley and these type of blokes. And, once finals time comes, watch out. And
what's been your happiest football moment in your career?
Oh, look, it probably, without a doubt, be the 2004 Grand Final when we knocked off St Paul's.
It was with East Brighton?
With East Brighton, and just basically playing with guys like Clint Onsendale and Chris Jewell and these sort of guys that...
Jason Parsonage?
No, Jason didn't play in that one. He played in the 2002, but I had a year of Mordiallic that year actually, but... just playing with mates we'd been down and through the hard times, and to have guys like that, and 2004 Granny for sure.
No worries. Now, if you had to have a preference between sports, would you choose rugby union or rugby league?
Being a private school boy, I went to Xavier, I'd probably have to say rugby union. Yeah.
Goes without saying. And being that we're in the middle of a national series, I have to ask, what's your prediction for the result?
Yeah, look, I'm one of those guys who stays up and watches a lot of it, so I thought the worst thing sort of Ponting did was mouth off after the first test, so I think Australia can still come back and win for sure, especially with Flintoff struggling a bit with his knees. Yeah.
Series total, 2-1, 3-1?
3-1 of the Aussies.
3-1. Yeah. Good to see someone confident of the Aussies. Peter O'Day picked a 2-0 England win, so... But, well, James, thanks a lot for joining us. Thanks for coming into the studio. We know you've taken time off work to join us here today, so thanks very much for your time. Thanks to Peter also for joining us. With that, we'll bring another Southern Football League web show to a close. Don't forget to join us down at Kangaroo Road this week for the Murrumbeena Blackrock Clash. You'll be able to hear it on 88.3 Southern FM. Tune in live on the Southern FM website, live stream. Each Sunday morning, Sam Robertson and Steve Barnes will bring you the Sunday Southern Footy Show, also on 88.3 from 11 till noon. Once again, we'll thank our coaches for coming in and wish them all the very best for this week and for the remainder of the season.